Hi everyone, I'm Nikki with Design Like a Pro, and I have a really cool tutorial for you today. This is based off of a project that I worked on last month for author Anna Banks. I worked on her book trailer that we created for the announcement of her book that released on May 28th. So you guys really need to check out this trailer. This is awesome. One of the things that you guys don't know about me is that I actually initially went into schooling for animation and video. So whenever I get the opportunity to work on those projects, I absolutely adore them, and I love to work on it whenever I can. So this is one of those cases where I was able to create the script for this trailer, we cast the trailer, we got the hair and makeup for the trailer, and we storyboarded it. I didn't film it. I actually partnered with a great friend for the filming, and we did work collaboratively for editing. So all of that was really awesome. So that's something that you don't know that I love to do. However, something great came out of that, because then I always get to work on character posters and movie style posters for projects that are based on film. So with that, the tutorial that I have for you guys today is a way that I use in my posters when I need to add a little bit of darkness to the bottom of my posters to give room for the title of the movie, or just some credits, or any other text that I want to place on my poster. This is a great way to do that without sacrificing your image. So let's go ahead and dive into Photoshop, and I'll show you this technique. We're going to start here with our blank image again, and we're going to go ahead and duplicate this layer. Now, the reason we're duplicating this is that this is going to create a non-destructive layer for us, so that we always have that original. And basically all that happened down here to get that effect is I used our lovely burn tool to bring out the details across this. And this allows us to darken here and darken here. And I am actually just using the midtones here, because we just want to subtly bring out that water up to a certain point. We don't want to go too far up here, because we want to maintain that bright factor, but we're just going to darken up this down here. If you want a little bit more drama in certain areas, you can bump up the shadows, especially maybe down in here. You can kind of prep for adding that gradient if you want to, but notice that it's going to keep that very much in line with her legs here, and then it goes out into the water. So this may work for you to put text over here. However, you'll notice that, like I said, this dark doesn't extend as far like it does here. It's a little bit more fluid across. And that's where the gradient comes into play. So if we add a gradient layer, we are going to take this down as small as possible, so it gives us a little bit of room here. You notice that the bigger you make it and the smaller you make it, the more intense. So we want something along, not too dark, something like that, where you can still see the photo underneath. That's what's key. And we're going to hit OK. Now, if I zoom out here, what happened? Well, we have black all over the image now, except for the very, very top. And that is definitely not what we want. So what's great about using the gradient tool like this is that you come with a layer mask available. So this means that you can paint away certain items of this gradient. So we can really take this down by just painting with black in any soft brush. Paint this down so that it doesn't cover as much as of our image. Okay, so you have something like that. Now, if we look at our original, you can see that we really scaled it back so that we just had the gradient just hover in almost like a circle over the bottom part of the image. So we're going to scale this back even more. And I'm going to take the brush size down. And we're going to paint away all the way up to her. And just leave a little bit. And if it gets too much, you can take the opacity of your brush down. That way it fades in even better, so you don't get that harsh line there, and you still have a nice transition. All right, so that's wonderful. And then you can see what the effect is when you turn it on and off. And it just gives us a darker area to place some text. And you can see it's a little bit darker than our original, and that's okay. So now the next step, if I threw in some random text here, And we used a different font here. We're just putting some text just so you can see. And then I'll show you how I created that other effect. Okay. Make it a little larger so you can see it. Okay. And obviously we need to make it a brighter color. Now here's another little tip. Whenever you're working on colors, I love using the eyedropper and picking colors out of the image itself. That is an absolute wonderful way to find colors that complement your design, and you don't have to rack your brain trying to find something that works. Okay, so we just throw this in here. If this was a character, you can even put the name of the character. But if we take this away, you can see that the initial darkness, you can read that decently, but that just gives it a much needed pop to make sure that we can really see what that text says. And if you notice it's too dark, you can always take the opacity down, and that way you can see that there's dark right where that text is, but it fades out a little bit more. Okay, so the final thing that I have here, I'm going to drag and drop that title image that I created. This was the original still that we have from the trailer that I sort of put this together, but you can see that if we drag this down here, that's not the effect that we want. So basically, again, we used our layer mask, which is a wonderful tool. It's non-destructive, and our brush on black, and we're able to, with a full opacity, bring this down and just delete items of this image so that it blends a little bit closer to the water. So it almost looks like it's part of that. We just want to make sure we don't have any harsh lines here. Okay, so we're just painting that away. We're not losing all of the detail, but we're just painting it as such so it looks like it overlays there. Okay, so now if we compare it to our original image here, you'll notice that we have a blending mode applied so that it blends a little bit easier into our image. So blending modes are great. You can play with this to see what works best. And you can notice here that we need to make this a little bit smaller so that that N comes in a little. You don't want to lose the ability to read the text, because the dark part of her pants is what's bringing that out so that we can see that text. And this is not enough, so I'm going to duplicate this layer, and we need to change the blending mode again. If you look at the original one, when we bring this, it's just a slight darkness to it, so we have a hard light layer applied. And then we're going to scale this way down so that it's not as bright. But that hard light layer just darkens it enough so that we can see that a little better. It brings up the contrast. Okay, isn't that cool? I mean, I absolutely love that, because you can have this dark part on the bottom and you're not sacrificing the image, and that's what I absolutely love. So go ahead and check out the trailer. There's a link in the description below. Let me know what you think. If you leave comments, say that you came from, that I sent you, that would be awesome. And go ahead and subscribe, please, and that way you can stay up to date with all the latest and greatest here on Design Like a Pro. Leave me comments. Let me know if this technique works for you or you see yourself using this technique in the future. Also, I will have a full-on course available at Toots Plus Premium very soon, all about poster design. We talk about character posters, movie posters, and event posters. So it's a full-on course if you want to learn how to design posters. I know that I got a few requests from you guys about that. So this way you can dive completely into the course, learn all about poster design. It's one of my absolute favorites. I just love poster design. I use it whenever I can for my promotion because it is just so much fun. I absolutely love posters. So anyway, until next time, I hope you guys are doing really well, enjoying your designs, and feel free to share your designs with me. That's one thing that I love, is to hear back from you guys, and when you take one of these techniques, and I know you're creating stuff, so go ahead and send me your goodies. Until the next episode, see you later. Bye.